Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse John Stewart Green Lantern, and not only that, this is the Amazon exclusive glow-in-the-dark gold label edition. McFarlane has released this particular John Stewart sculpt a couple different times, and we all know how McFarlane loves their paint variants, and we all know how D Hunter loves buying them. I pre-ordered this thing from Amazon a long time ago. It got delayed, and it finally arrived today. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, this is part of the gold label collection. A McFarlane gold label figure is simply a retailer exclusive, whether it be Walmart, Target, or GameStop. This particular gold label is an Amazon exclusive. DC, Green Lantern logo, Green Lantern, John Stewart, Glow in the Dark edition, McFarlane Toys, authenticated limited edition to 3,000 pieces. The top says DC. One side, Green Lantern, John Stewart, Glow in the Dark. Other side, little QR code. At the bottom, bunch of credits. There's his barcode, if that helps anybody. And at the back side, here's John Stewart posed up. It actually makes a lot of sense to do a Green Lantern glow-in-the-dark figure, as it sort of simulates their power ring and constructs, etc. This is one of McFarlane's deluxe figures. It's got the sleeve on the outside. Pull that up, and you can see the figure inside. He comes with a display stand, collector's card, a display stand for the collector's card, a couple of constructs, and then he glows in the dark. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. He comes with a display stand, a collector's card, a display stand for the collector's card, and then 2 green sword construct pieces. But before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is John Stewart, the Green Lantern. This is a gold label Amazon exclusive, glow-in-the-dark version, which is very appropriate for a Green Lantern, as it can sort of simulate his green energy or power around him. So let's take a look. It's going to be the same John Stewart that we've already gotten, but he's going to have glow-in-the-dark paint. Face sculpt looks good. Hairline, very nice. He's got a fade. Gets shorter as it goes down to the side. Eyes, the mouth. It's all very well done. Only thing that bothers me, that little sort of crease between his brow there. Not a big deal. He's got a Green Lantern outfit, black, green, Green Lantern logo in the front. It's going to be glow in the dark, I assume, in all these different green parts. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. It is that same John Stewart that we've already got a couple different times before, but it doesn't make it a bad figure. It's actually a fantastic figure. Great John Stewart figure. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. We've received 2 John Stewarts with the same head in the past, and I've seen some people use this for an unmasked Duke Thomas or Tim Fox. It's a very solid head sculpt, very well done. Just a little bit too much of the same. Now let's check out his accessories. Let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. The difference is it has a Green Lantern logo on it, which is a nice touch, and it's done with glow-in-the-dark paint. Very thin, very basic. Now for his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the John Stewart Green Lantern. Green Lantern, glow-in-the-dark edition. On the backside, certificate of authenticity. This is number 273 of 3,000. Here's the new glow-in-the-dark collector's card on the left, next to the original John Stewart Rebirth collector's card on the right. It also contains a display stand for the collector's card. When put together, it's going to look like this, and it has glow-in-the-dark paint on the green DC there. Now let's look at his swords. They're made from the Green Lantern energy, and they glow in the dark. The swords themselves, they look pretty good. Handle has a nice amount of sculpting detail on it. The blade is very thick and fat. Here they are, next to the previous John Stewart swords. These ones are made of a more transparent plastic, and that's probably because of the glow-in-the-dark paint. Here's John Stewart, holding those 2 swords. Now I wanted to check out his action feature, which is that he glows in the dark. Now, glow-in-the-dark toys are different than when I was a kid. When I was a kid, you would just leave them in sunlight or a light from one of your lamps. They would get charged up and they'd work for a while. But now it seems like you have to take a black light, hit them with that. So I have this black light flashlight. Turn it on, hit them up, kind of see the difference immediately. It looks pretty cool. So let's see how it looks with the lights off. Here's how he is in a fully lit room, then in a semi-lit room. And here he is in a complete dark room, glowing in the dark. And like I said earlier, his other accessories also have glow-in-the-dark paint on them. Now I wanted to check out the differences between this glow-in-the-dark John Stewart and the original Rebirth John Stewart, besides the obvious paint differences. and there are none. It is 100% the same figure, same articulation, same sculpt. Like I said, the heads are the same. The sculpt is exactly the same, although he's got the glow-in-the-dark paint here and he doesn't. This guy has the gloves painted similar to the Endless Winter John Stewart. Beyond that, exactly the same, just the paint is different on the green, glow-in-the-dark, regular. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. Bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7.2 inches tall, which can translate to just over 18 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head. Of course, you can rotate side to side. You can look up and down a pretty good amount. Tilt his head one side to the other. Shoulders, ball joint, goes out way more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion and covering the large gap that would be there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows. His wrists can rotate and it's hinged. Ball joint his torso, rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion in his torso area. Legs, they only go out about this far. Seems like something's preventing him from going further. I don't know. Not a ball joint. McFarlane style hip joints. Go forward about that much. Back, not much at all. Rotation. It's decent. Double jointed knees. Then his ankle. Rotate. Forward and back. Tilt, rock. And of course, toe articulation. Here's John Stewart hovering above the city skies. Green Lantern energy flowing out of his ring. And here's that same image, utilizing the glow-in-the-dark features. And here's Stewart, holding a construct minigun made out of Green Lantern energy. Then, holding that minigun with the glow-in-the-dark features. And finally, here he is, holding the two construct swords. Here's John Stewart and the swords glowing in the dark. Pretty cool features, especially for a Green Lantern character. Makes perfect sense for someone like him. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse Green Lantern figures. Here he is, next to the initial release of John Stewart Green Lantern. This is a single release from the Rebirth comics, and I believe, according to the collector's card information and the packaging, this is supposed to be an updated version of him, glow-in-the-dark version, but there are some differences, like the gloves. There was a second release of the same mold of John Stewart. He was part of the Justice League Endless Winter Wave collective build Frost King. It's the exact same figure, but some different paint job, mainly on the gloves. And even though the new one is labeled as glow-in-the-dark Rebirth, he has the paint job more similar to the Endless Winter, and the accessories of the Endless Winter John Stewart. Mildly interesting. And here he is, next to the Justice League Unlimited animated John Stewart. Then, next to John Stewart as the Emerald Knight, or Power Ring, this is the evil John Stewart, part of the Crime Syndicate. Here are all the different McFarlane DC Multiverse John Stewart figures. We have 5 of them now. I'm not aware of any other ones upcoming, but you know they're not done with him. Here he is, next to a NECA John Stewart figure. Then, next to a Mattel DC Multiverse John Stewart figure. Here are all the different 6 and 7 inch John Stewart Green Lantern figures I have in my collection by NECA, McFarlane, and Mattel. Here's John Stewart next to Hal Jordan, arguably the most known Green Lantern. Then, next to Kyle Rayner. Then, next to Alan Scott. This is the original Green Lantern. They've given us Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, and Alan Scott. The next human Green Lantern I'd like to see would be Guy Gardner. I'd love to see a DC Classics Guy Gardner. Here's John Stewart next to Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker is a Batman Green Lantern hybrid, an evil version from the Dark Multiverse. Here's absolutely every single Green Lantern figure McFarlane has made so far. I still need to track down the Platinum version of Alan Scott. And the next one coming out is going to be the Walmart exclusive Vampire Hal Jordan, and I'm not aware of any others after that. Here's John Stewart next to the Yellow Lantern Sinestro Corps Batman. The next Yellow Lantern they're making is Sinestro himself in the collector's line. Here's this Green Lantern next to Kyle Rayner Blue Lantern, the only Blue Lantern they've made. And here he is next to the Red Lanterns McFarlane has made. We have Atrocitus and Batrocitus. And here he is with the Black Lanterns they've made. A couple versions of Batman, Superman, and Deathstorm. Now let's check him out next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is next to the 2 most recent Mega figures, Justice Buster and Anti-Monitor. And here he is Next to the Hush Superman, the Tim Drake Robin, and the DC Classics Riddler, there's a Platinum Chase version of the DC Classics Riddler, and I'm on the hunt for him. Then, next to some recent McFarlane Toy Store exclusive figures, we have the Patina variant of Superman in his Unchained Armor and Superboy Prime, then Catman and Dick Grayson Robin. Now, with the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, black and white accent, Martian Manhunter, Superman, and Flash. Here's Jon Stewart. Next to the Blue Beetle movie wave, we have the regular Blue Beetle, Carapace, and Battle Mode Blue Beetle. And here he is, next to the first wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures. We have both versions of the first appearance Superman, Alan Scott as Green Lantern, and then the Abyss. There's a Platinum Chase variant of each of these figures. As you can see, I have the Superman. I'm still looking for Alan Scott and Abyss. Then, next to the Batman and Spawn 2-pack. And now, next to the Dark Knight Trilogy Gold Label San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figures, we have Bane with his coat, Joker as Bank Robber Thug, and then Joker is seen through the sonar vision. Here's Green Lantern. Next to some more San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figures, we have the 85th anniversary Superman, the 30th anniversary Nightfall Batman, the Page Puncher sketch Mr. Freeze, and the Dark Knight's Metal Alan Scott Dread Lantern. Next, let's check him out with some Target exclusive figures. Here he is, next to the Superman vs. Doomsday 2-pack, and here he is, with some Target exclusive Jokerized stuff. Then, with some more Target exclusive figures, we have the Sinestro Corps Batman, Ted Kord Blue Beetle, then Impulse and Deadman. And now, with the Target exclusive Flashpoint wave, we have Aquaman, Project Superman, and The Flash. Here he is, next to the Injustice 2 3-pack, we have Batman, Supergirl, and Dr. Fate. Then, with some recent Walmart exclusive Gold Label figures, we have the Vampire, Joker, Batman, and Superman, and then Captain Atom, Beast Boy, and Eradicator. And now, with the most recent Batman wave, we have the Nightfall Batman, Batman Incorporated Batwing, and the Batman Reborn Two Faces Batman. And finally, next to the 5th wave of Page Punchers, this is a Batman-themed wave, fighting the Frozen. We have Batman, Robin, both versions of Batgirl, and Mr. Freeze. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you'll know drawings you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane Toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures. Here's Jon Stewart, next to a container of ice cream toppings. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, standing next to some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some Chazwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, with some Mayfix figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a really cool Jon Stewart figure. The glow-in-the-dark action feature is really perfect for a Green Lantern guy. It kind of shows that energy all around him. Excellent. I can't wait to check out Swamp Thing, but doesn't quite have the same sort of appeal as Swamp Thing doesn't have a bunch of energy glowing around him. He's just going to look cool. This one actually kind of makes sense for display purposes. The actual figure is fantastic. I have no complaints about the previous Jon Stewart they made, although this is exactly the same for the 3rd time. His accessories and the construct swords don't do much for me. The collector's card with the display stand doesn't do much either. The regular display stand with the Green Lantern logo is pretty cool. If I were to rate this guy, probably give him a 7 out of 10. It's a very nice figure. The action feature works and looks cool with this guy. Makes perfect sense with the Green Lantern, but it is a little bit too much of the same. I was pretty cool with the original Rebirth Jon Stewart. This one is gimmicky, but cool. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.